So, you're looking to buy a property in France, possibly a holiday home, possibly a full-time residence, and you're probably wondering which are the most popular areas with the English in France. Well, I'm Dan Newton, this is French Property Talk, and here are a few answers for you. There are over 148,000 English people resident in France, spread out over the different 18 regions. But did you know that 57% of that 148,000 live in only 4 regions? The most popular region in France with the English buyer is the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region, which is the section which is down the western Atlantic coast. They have 39,000 roughly English people in residence there. Second most popular is Occitanie with 25,000. That's down below on the Spanish border going across on the Mediterranean coast. Third place is Brittany, up in the northern half, which is just the part which sticks out below England, so to speak, below the south coast there. And they have 14,000 English people in residence on the last count. And fourth place goes to Normandy with about 7,500 English people in residence there. But saying that, Nouvelle-Aquitaine is like 3 times bigger than Brittany, which is the smallest of the 4 regions. So if you actually work it backwards and do like a density calculation, whatever, you will find Brittany is in fact the most popular place with the English buyer. You can see here a map of France which was produced by the INSEE, which is the French census, and was produced in 2020, showing the development of the British in France. So obviously the darker the spots, the more important the actual area. When you actually look at the data, it's actually based on small towns and big towns alike, and so this is why you get the different dots area, but you get a rough idea. Admittedly, it's almost too detailed to get a better idea. I find this map here, which obviously breaks it down to different things, different sectors, but all those coloured areas are actually British residents, so you can actually see an easier way to see where the areas are popular. So as I mentioned earlier, you've got Brittany, Normandy, Aquitaine and Occitanie down there in the south. Brittany and Normandy are quite popular due to the actual proximity to the UK and easy access via the different ferry ports you can see up here. After that, when you go further south, then you're not so much reliant on the ferry ports but more on the airports. You can see another map here, shows the different airports in France. One thing to be careful with the airports compared to the ferry ports is actually where are they flying to and who is flying them, because what has happened quite often is people are based on a airline route, quite often with a budget airline, let's say from Manchester down to Limoges. I don't know if that existed, but just for example, buy a house down there because they get down there dead easily and cheaply, and then the following year that budget airline decides to cancel that flight route and they're suddenly stuck with like a 15-hour drive from Manchester down to Limoges. So there you go, think about that. Don't just go for the budget lines, look at the general lines, the frequentations on there. Unlike the ferry ports, where the ferry ports are pretty well standard, they've been doing those runs for years. So all very important, and that's take into account. Another thing people will want to take into account is the actual weather. Obviously, standard thinking, the further south you go, the hotter the summers, etc. But don't forget, quite often the hotter the summers means the colder the winters. Not just on the actual difference in temperature, but the actual snow, etc., etc. I know, for example, if you go down to the north of Aquitaine, where you have some very nice summers, 30, 40 degrees, you do get snow and ice through winter. Where if you go through Brittany, for example, okay, we lose about 25, 30 degrees in summer, but very rarely do we get snow. I personally lived in Brittany for gone 30 years now, and I think it snowed here something like half a dozen times. Most of those times it's gone by midday. So take that into account. Don't just base on your summer holidays down there. Do a bit of research and actually check out the all year round weather. If you know someone down there, ask them. If you don't, it's look upable on the internet. After that, talking about regions is quite easy because like big areas, like I said, Aquitaine 3 times bigger than Brittany, but in those regions there's different areas as well. For example, if you take Brittany, Morbihan and Côte d'Armor are the most popular areas, but Northern Finistère and Northern Île-et-Vilaine are quite popular as well due to the proximity to the said ferry ports. In Normandy, there's mainly the Calvados and La Manche are the most popular areas with the English, but saying that, the Orne area is up and rising, let's say, and becoming more and more popular. In the Aquitaine is a very big area, Lots of areas are popular, but the main ones, let's say, I'd say would be Lot-et-Garonne, Dordogne, Corrèze, and up and coming are the Creuse and Haute-Vienne departments of France. In Occitanie, it's probably the most popular areas are Tarn, Garonne, and the Lot, which touch the Aquitaine area, Dordogne, and that sort of thing, but also the Pyrenees Orientales down there on the Spanish border. Up and rising department there is Gers, getting more and more popular. So there you go, that's a quick roundup of the different regions of France. No actual tourist guides or things. I'll be doing individual tourist guides for different regions as we go on, so stay tuned, and if you like this video, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe, because we'll have more information coming out to you as the time goes on. Speak soon. Bye.